Welcome, everyone, to another of our series in the 15 Minutes webcasts. Today, we're going to talk about customer service skills recharge. So we here at the Kissimmee Osceola County Chamber of Commerce are delighted to have our sponsor, Kissimmee Utility Authority, sponsor today's webcast. We, as champions for business and community, are here to help your business. KUA is a great partner to both the Chamber and your business as well, especially if you're in their service territory. So we're delighted to bring you this topic today. Of note is our guest today, Jennifer McGinnis with Mantis Shrimp Consulting. Jennifer has years of experience as a national trainer, a stand-up and improv comic, a contract negotiator, and a career coach, and has also written a book on career advice. She's also a regular public speaker on career development, communication skills, and stress management. So as Christina brings up Jennifer for discussion, she is with Mantis Shrimp Consulting. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning,
I hope towards the end of the 15 minutes, if time allows, you'll as a teaser, you'll tell the audience at the end maybe where the name Mantis Shrimp Consulting comes from. I think that's fascinating. But we're delighted to have you here today. And of course, again, talking about customer service skills recharge. So the floor is yours. I'm going to stay on screen so we can have a little discussion along the way, but excited to hear what you have to share in these tough times of COVID.
Thank you, John. I was glad to be asked to speak on this particular topic because everything has shifted right now, right? And a lot of our client and customer work right now is over Zoom or over the phone where it may not have been before, or we've got that mask in front of our face. So a lot of our natural instinct customer service responses or the way that we connect with people, we have to think through it a little differently, and we have to actually be a little more intentional with it. Our natural kind of muscle memory on how to be a good customer service person in whatever field we're in, it's not what we can use now. So we're having to really be thoughtful and think through pieces. So I'm glad to be here to talk for just a little bit of time and give people just a few simple things that they can do and take with them to hopefully kind of refresh things, kind of sharpen those skills, as it were. It's a good thing to check in on. So yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited. So I'm going to give you guys 4 specific things. And at the end of this, I'm actually going to post those 4 things on a little reminder on the Facebook page, the Chamber Facebook page, and the Chamber LinkedIn page as well, so that you guys can have something to look at as well, because we all learn differently. Some learn by hearing, some learn by seeing, and we all like to have little reminders with us sometimes. But the first thing we're going to talk about is what's called the 7-38-55 split. Have you ever heard of that, John?
No, ma'am.
So what that is studies have shown that when people speak, when they hear speakers, people tend to remember 7% of the content, which is kind of depressing for someone who's a public speaker, but 38% of the tone and 55% of what they remember is body language. And so right now, when we're eliminating a whole bunch of the body language that we would normally be able to use with people, we have to rely a lot more heavily on tone. Whereas before it was 38% of what people would remember, now it's going to be a lot more. And 38% is still a lot. So actually, for those of you who are watching, I sent John something in advance. It's a paragraph from the Chamber website. And I'm going to ask him to do us a favor, and I'm going to have him read it twice. And each time he's going to read it with a different thought in mind. So John, if you would help us with the first time, please.
Yes, ma'am. At the Chamber, we believe you deserve to find a room full of people just like you who can share your story and become an army of salespeople for you. We understand how hard it is to get connected with the right people who can help you grow your business, which is why we are on a mission to be the #1 connector of business owners.
Okay, so he had a particular thought in mind with that one. Now, John, if you could read that one more time with the second thought in mind.
Absolutely. At the Chamber, we believe you deserve to find a room full of people just like you who can share your story and become an army of salespeople for you. We understand how hard it is to get connected with the right people who can help grow your business, which is why we are on a mission to be the #1 connector of business owners.
So you can hear a difference in how John speaks those things. Thank you so much, John. The first one was when he was bored. I asked him to read it like he was bored, like maybe like he didn't want to be here. And he didn't know why I was asking him to do it like this, but it's to demonstrate a point. If you're speaking to people like you're bored, if the thought in your mind is that you're bored, your inflections of your words go down, you sound bored, you don't sound as engaged, people can hear the difference when you are thinking consciously, I'm here and I want to help people, because that was the second one that John did. He wanted to help people. That was the thought in his mind, reading that paragraph from the chamber website, and it came across. It comes across in your tone. If you're there to help people, if you consciously think, I want to help people, it can make a difference. And since that's a big part of what people remember, I think right now one of the simple things we can do is to make sure we're consciously thinking, what's my tone? Why am I here? Why am I picking up this phone? And when we do that, it helps us get across the things that people want to hear. It helps us connect with them. It makes them feel more connected to us and like we're there for them. And you can hear it. John, could you feel it when you were speaking it? Could you feel a difference in those?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And have you had situations where you can tell just by someone's tone whether or not they're actually interested in being there for you and helping you?
And you can hear that through the phone too, whether that's the key.
It's one of those things. Like, I've been in jobs where I've had to pick up the phone a lot, and sometimes you don't want to pick up the phone. Sometimes you think that the person on the other end is going to yell at you. Sometimes they do. It's unfortunate, but if you before you pick it up, if you have that conscious thought of, I'm here to help this person, a lot of times it can diffuse some of the negatives that are going to come out, and it can take the situation down a notch right off the bat. And even answering the phone with, how can I help you? Or what can I do for you today? Those little things help set a tone with people, and it lets them know that you're actually there for them and you want to help. So number one thing is make sure that we're checking in on our tone, and just remembering how important that is and being kind of intentional about it. The second thing that I want to talk about is the story. And what I mean by that is that one of the most important things, one of the most compelling things we can do when we're thinking about customer service skills is learning to pay attention to the stories around us, the stories of the people that we're helping. It can get really easy to get into just making sure that we are filling out all the paperwork or waving at the people we're supposed to wave at or cleaning the tables, etc. But the people around us are the reason that we're there, and they all have personal stories, and that's more true now than ever. I was speaking with someone a couple weeks ago, and she was saying that time had kind of turned to jello. And we talked about how it's actually true that the world has kind of turned to jello, right? Like, everything is wobbly, everything is different, nothing is as we expect. And the things that people around us are going through are intense. There's a lot of loss, stress, anger, frustration. The time that they're interacting with you as a customer service agent, it might be their only human interaction that day because of what's going on with quarantine. They might be dealing with instability. There's all kinds of stuff going on. And so while that never excuses people being rude, right, it does help us understand where they're coming from. And it helps us remember why we're there. So make sure that we're checking in with those compelling stories of the people around us to make sure that we're kind of activating our empathy. That's one of the biggest things with customer service, is being empathetic towards the people around us. So that's two of them. So we are making sure that we're checking our tone and we're checking in with the story. The third thing is making sure that you're really listening to people. People often, especially if you're in a customer service position where you're one of those frontline people that they're complaining to, more than ever, a lot of people just want to be heard. They just want to be able to get their frustrations out. And this is actually a skill we can practice. It's something we can do through experiential learning. And as someone who's into applied improv, it's something you can do with applied improv. I'm a big fan of that. But there are all kinds of ways you can practice that skill. But I think one of the key things to do is to remember that you are listening for the sake of hearing them, not for the sake of responding necessarily. You want to make sure that you're really giving them the time and the space to speak or show you what's bothering them. It's one of the huge key components of customer service skills. And an example of this is that, and this is something that I've kind of worked through with some groups, and we'll do it really briefly here, is that you want to make sure that you aren't selling them something they aren't interested in right now, right? That's part of listening to them. So if I tell you, my car broke down, sell me a car, and you're a car salesman, a lot of times the people that I work with, for example, I'm like, brainstorm how you're going to sell it to me. They start listing off the details of the car, like our car is this and that, and it's red and fancy and it's got the nice tires, but that might not be what I need, right? And I say, well, what's missing? It's what I wanted. And a lot of times when you reflect that back to people who are thinking through, like, well, I wanted to sell you the car, I wanted to sell you our car. You can ask people, what do you need, right? And then you're going to connect with them differently. What do you need? What can I help you with? Help them have an opportunity to speak. Yeah, John.
Well, I got an example of that. I had my car towed in years ago to a car dealership where I bought it, and I had it towed in, meaning the engine wasn't working. And as soon as the guy comes out to help, he says, "Hey, we'll shine up your headlights for me." I said, "Well, I need to get the car driving before I worry about headlights." He called me 3 times trying to sell me on the headlights. I've never gone back to that dealership after driving off the lot. So, so it is important. He's lost my business.
Right. And if he'd listened to what you actually needed down the road, maybe you would have gone to him for some of those extra services. But it was trying to push the thing that you didn't need right now that pushed you away. And that's so important. So make sure, everybody, that you're really listening to people and giving them that space to tell you what they need from you, and reflecting back to them that you actually hear them, like listening ferociously. That's how I like to say it.
And a quick sidebar, that dealership is not a chamber member, so just.
Oh, good. Well, that works out well.
That's right.
But maybe they need to be checked in on this little reminder, though.
That's right. Let's help them. Absolutely.
Benefits of being a member of the chamber is you get these little things.
Man, I'd love to see them in so we can help them, right?
Yeah, we love that. So the fourth and final thing that I want to make sure that people remember in regards to just kind of sharpening up their customer service skills is follow-up and reliability. People want to make sure that they can trust you. And one of the ways that you can show that is whatever promises you make to them, make sure that you follow through with them. Make sure that you are actually doing the things you say that you're going to do, calling them back, going back to the issue that they wanted to talk about, those types of little things. And it might seem like a small thing, but following up in the way that you say that you're going to, and as quickly and responsibly as you can, that's a huge piece of customer service. And people will respect and appreciate you for that. And those are the people that they're going to want to talk to, do business with. They're the ones that they're going to send their friends to. And as an example of this, I said at the beginning that I'm going to post a little reminder to you guys of these 4 points on Facebook and LinkedIn. So after this, I'm going to get on there and post that. That's how I'm going to just kind of give you an example of making sure that we do our follow through and make sure that we show that we're reliable. Yeah.
And I'd say the follow through is probably the difference maker between you and your competitor, right? How responsive you are, how fast you are in that response. So, so I didn't mean to, if there's other thoughts, if not, you've been respectful of the 15 minutes, which is tremendous. And we are busy people. We want to get you back to making money and being successful. So if before we get to summary, people may have been waiting to know what Mantis Shrimp Consulting is. Can you tell them?
Sure. So a mantis shrimp, for those of you guys who don't know, is a special kind of little ocean creature. He's actually kind of rainbow colored and amazing. And I picked him to represent my company for 2 very good reasons. The first one is that they pack a very strong punch. And I thought for my small business, I wanted to represent that I could pack a really strong punch. In fact, they punch so fast that the air around them, or the water around them, boils in the ocean, which is amazing. But the second and most amazing thing is that they have more pieces in their eyes to see different colors than we do. While we only see a certain number of colors, they see an entire rainbow of colors that humans couldn't possibly imagine. So I wanted to represent that my company can come in and see things differently, just like the very cool mantis shrimp.
I love it, Jennifer. You're amazing. I appreciate you being a chamber member and sharing your expertise with our members. We will certainly have you back on this program to talk about some other helpful hints. So to our folks in need of help, Jennifer can be that help, and certainly the chamber is a partner in that as well. So thanks for watching today, Jennifer. Thanks for being a guest today. And we're all in this together, so let's be champions. And the motto we've adjusted to, and since March 1 really, is champions adjust. So stay with us. Let us know we can help you. If you have questions, put them in the thread. This will be archived on our YouTube channel, and we'll hope to see you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye. Have a great day.